Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one and only beloved Exen. Now, listen, I know there's some mixed feelings, some mixed opinions on this crypto, but look, I just gotta say, right? I just have to say that, despite Exen being down, right, somewhere near the lowest price it has been pretty much since, let's say, March, April time, it still holds a nice ranking of 141 out of 9,443 active cryptos. Okay. So it is absolutely still a top dog, a top contender. It's been holding its rank very, very nice despite price going down, right? I think the highest I've seen it was probably like 130 in recent times. By recent times, maybe a couple weeks ago. But overall, that's not really bad in terms of fluctuation. Okay. So things objectively have been looking very, very good and very, very solid for this project, other than just the price action. Okay. The price action has been going down pretty much ever since mid July, and we haven't really seen any lifeline, right? Everything has been short lived. You can see there's been multiple spikes, but they've all been just there for a couple hours, right? We go up for a couple hours. Next thing you know, a day later, we're back down. We go up for 4 hours, then we go sideways for a day, and a day later, we sell off. We go up, and we sell off. We go up within, let's see this, boom, boom, boom. Let's see, uh, 1 o'clock. So 1 o'clock went up, right? We had 12 o'clock go up. We had 1 o'clock go up. We had 11 o'clock go up. I don't know why I did it for that order, but yeah, you get it. Anyways, 4 hours later, it pretty much all went away. So we've seen Exen spike to the upside, but never hold, right? We've seen it bait people, but never truly change the shift in momentum. And even once we kind of saw this break late August, we were just saying the whole time that, look, we are ranging, and I expected for these bottoms to get swept, right? I've been saying it for multiple weeks that I expect these bottoms to get swept. I expected at least at the bare minimum to be entering into this zone over here. And I said there's a decent chance we could swipe this zone. Obviously, I didn't expect a big, massive market crash. Most altcoins did crash 75 to 85% within an hour. Massive, massive manipulation. And we can see, right? Exen, to be honest, was one of the altcoins that crashed the least out of all the altcoins, right? When we go and look at the last hour when it crashed, that was 28%. If we go, a couple hours before that, the whole thing was 32% on the day. So it was really one of the cryptos that held its own the best. And that is just a simple reality. Okay. That is the simple reality. So look, in terms of this zone, everything is kind of complete, right? Everything is kind of complete. There's no reason really to be going down too much lower unless we want to tap into somewhere, down in this price, or if we wanted to fill up all of this over here, right? If we wanted to fill up all of this, I'm not going to be explaining, too much the technical reason, but just know that, the markets will eventually come back here, whether it is going to be over the next few weeks or whether it's going to be in bear season. The markets will most likely come back to this zone. Look, people are disappointed in the price, but I get it. But you got to realize that a lot of cryptos have been just going down over the last, let's just say, few months, right? Even few weeks. So it's not an Exen issue. This is just an altcoin thing. You got to also remember that Exen was going sideways for a very, very long time, almost, I would say, like a year and a half or so, and then it exploded, right? Even if we just take somewhere in the middle of the range of this green box, and let's say, you're buying somewhere there, you could have made upwards of 31x your money, right? And that's a huge pump, people. That's a huge pump. And that's, like I said, that's the mid range. That's not even like counting the bottom range. Okay. So you got to realize Exen did see a huge shift in momentum to the upside. Ever since then, it has been selling off and correcting. But that's kind of what you want to see. That's kind of what you need to see, to be honest. Okay. And that is just the reality. Listen, right? One thing I want to talk about is, look, another thing that's going well for Exen is that there's a lot of holders. The holders are continuously rising and have been rising for the longest time. And it's not like they're going up only 5 holders a day. No, they're going up consistently 50, 70, 100 holders a day. Of course, sometimes here and there might be a slower day, but overall, we have been rising very, and I mean very, very nicely. Okay. And like I said, this is when Exen is down here. So listen, people see the vision, right? People are accumulating positions. And I think personally, in my opinion, if you were just looking, right, you don't even need to be an expert. Where would make the most sense to buy? Would it make somewhere, down here where we see zones? We see one zone here, we see this zone here, we see another zone here, or would it make more sense somewhere up here, or would it make more sense to buy up here? Just logically speaking, if you were to take a risk, where would you want to take it? I know my answer. And just in case some of you guys are confused, the answer is down in this zone, right? There's always, of course, that fact, like I said, we could go potentially lower to these zones, but generally speaking, this is a fantastic zone to be stocking up on Exen, and that is just the reality. Now, yes, we still don't have any real reversal confirmation signs, right? Especially in terms of the weekly. We have been continuously making lower and lower and lower highs continuously, right? Over the last few weeks. In terms of the daily, it's the same thing. We've seen big rejections. Now, here is the deal. We are most likely going to see some type of reversal signs, but like I said, please be careful about, for this zone over here, the 1.2 cents. Now, the reason why I point this out is because it's some, next level term for when it comes to institutional trading and everything. Like I said, I'm not going to go too much into detail, but just be wary that there could be a potential fake out once again. If you see Exen spike up to a cent to 1.2 cents, right, we have to see and make sure that it holds and not just, goes up for 2, 3, 4 hours and then dumps back down, right? And then day, like something on the 11th, it technically started at 0.0088, right? It went upwards up to 0.0126. That's a big jump, but it closed at 0.0098. So we can see, right, there's literally a huge rejection. This line over here is a huge rejection. So we've seen, like I said, over here too, Exen is not afraid to spike up and go down, right? Again, look, we actually, this day over here on August 19th, it was actually all the way up at 1.4 cents, almost at 1.5, but it closed all the way down at 1.2 cents. It was up here, and it closed as a selling day. So, like I said, be careful for the Exen manipulation trap, right? Do not get caught. Do not think, oh my God, this is hype, 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 hype. Do not get caught in the trap over here. Okay. So let's just be wary of that. Overall, we are kind of, looking to be breaking out. We are kind of just in this type of trend where we're kind of in this triangle. Like I said, we have a nice floor over here, and we are consistently here, right? We are consistently tapping off this zone. Now, look, we are running out of time to make a choice. We at most probably have, I would say, a few short weeks. By a few short weeks, probably 2 to 3, and that's really stretching it out before Exen must make a decision of where Exen wants to go. But yeah, that is ultimately it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys think. Where do you think Exen is going to go? Do you still believe in this project? I still believe Exen has a upwards of a little under a 30x potential, right? I do believe 10 billion market cap is more than likely for this crypto. And I know a lot of people are not believing, a lot of people are not happy, but you got to realize when you look at the whole entire market, literally most altcoins other than like BNB and all those top ones are suffering. So yeah, that is it. Love you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.